welcome back to another Insider, and we continue this month of March with something that is very important to mention. I've done videos about this before, and I decided to revisit this topic because I think it is very important. I'm talking about certified translations for countries other than Australia, because we have certain rules that apply in Australia in regards to certified translation. But if we are working with another country or with authorities from another country, those rules that we know here may not apply, and we might need to go and do an extra steps to get the process done, or it might be done totally different altogether. So in these insiders, I'm going to talk about the certified translation in other countries, and of course I will be talking about certified translation for Portugal, which is the one that I do and I know better. So come with me and let's talk about certified translation for Portugal. So let's talk about certified translations and certified translations in this particular case for Portugal. You know that if you, for example, work in different countries, rules are different. That's obvious. It doesn't really need to be said at all. And it is the same thing with certified translations. I've been doing certified translation for Portuguese authorities and for Portuguese companies, etc. And I know that the rules that apply in Australia do not apply in Portugal, and that's why I need a set of processes in place in order to help my clients with their applications for Portugal. So it is important that we understand that, so we are aware of what we need to do to get all these things in place. So in Portugal, there is no certified translators per se, so you won't find in Portugal a certified translator. I heard that there is a new association that is trying to implement something like that there, but however, they still don't have it. The government and the authorities do not recognize anyone there as a certified translator, and therefore they need to go some extra processes in order to get those translations certified. So let's see what you need for Portugal. As I said, they don't have certified translators like we do, and a certified translation needs to be certified in a notary. So you have to go to a notary, and then it's basically your signature. You have to testify that you have done that translation, and it's basically your signature that is then certified by that notary. So in other words, that signature, you have to testify, as I said, that you've done the translation, and bring a statutory declaration for the matter, and then they obviously certify the translation and all that declaration, etc. They themselves will do a notary declaration as well, and that's how they do. Portugal does not have certified translators who can provide the final product like we have here, as we have in Australia. According to APT, which is Associação Portuguesa de Tradutores, or Portuguese Translators Association, there are no certified translators in Portugal, and this is the procedure to certify translations in the country. So you do your translation, and then you have to go to a notary to get it certified. and that's what you need to do. The Portuguese Association also mentions that in Portugal, the service is quoted and includes the translation, the notary certification, because you have to pay when you go to a notary to certify something, and the travel expenses. So colleagues there, when they quote for the service, they have to include that certification, and they also have to include that the travel expenses, because they will need to travel from their office to a notary to get it certified. This is what happens for Portugal. Now, in Australia, we have NATI certified translators, just like myself, which means that the translator can provide the final product. However, that is for Australia. We provide a certified translation that will be the final product for Australia. However, you still have to comply with other countries if you are working with authorities abroad. So please, you need to pay attention to that if you want to provide this type of service. So if you are working with governments overseas, you need to know what the regulations are for that particular country in order to fill in all the requirements and get the job done. If you are a NATI certified translator and you work for the Portuguese authorities, just like my case, you still have to comply with that certification process. However, for the NATI certified translators, for translators that live in Australia and are working with the Portuguese consulate in Australia or embassy, the rules are slightly adapted to the reality that we have in Australia. So, because we have certified translators, the Portuguese consulate accepts only NATI certified translators, because they can provide the final product without notary or anything like that. So they accept us for their applications. And there's even a list of NATI certified translators that work with the Portuguese language in Australia in the Portuguese consulate website, which, by the way, are not endorsed by the consulate or the Portuguese government. Those are just, it's just an informative list that you can go there and you can just see already practitioners, already professionals that work with the Portuguese language and may be able to help you with your applications. No endorsement there. I'm in that list, but I am not endorsed by the consulate. It's there because I'm registered with the consulate, and of course I am a NATI certified translator that can translate those applications. So, as I said, it's just for informative purposes. The translator must stamp and sign the translation so their signature can be signed or recognized by that consulate, by the consulate either in Sydney. I think they have another one in Melbourne. So that's how it works. And that is the final step for certification here, which is slightly similar to what happens in Portugal. However, instead of going to a notary, you just go to the consulate. In Portugal, you can also go, there's a few other bodies, and I had made a video about this before, like solicitors and a few other places where you can go and have those translations certified as well. So this is the final step. I usually include a statutory declaration as well, where I list all the documents that I have translated. I then sign it again and put my stamp, which include, that the physical stamp, the physical NATI stamp will include my number, so my license number, and then my signature. I put the date I translated the document, and that's it. So it will have my signature the date I have done the job, and obviously my NATI credentials. And this is what I do. I again stamp it again on that statutory declaration, so it goes, and it's easier for them to certify and get to the final stages. Now, NATI now has a digital stamp, which by no means I would embrace if there was not a little bit of a technicality here. Since the Portuguese consulate needs the signature of the translator to be recognized in order to certify the translation, the new digital stamp won't be enough, because with the new stamp you don't have your signature. Your signature is not there. So we have a problem there. For that final step, we don't have the signature, so it needs to be signed. The consulate would like originals as well, so not printed copies of the translation. So we have another problem. Maybe in the future we can eventually move to a more digital approach where even the Portuguese consulate accept, since they have, if we are Portuguese nationals, they have our digital signature there, because we have to sign for our passports, our identity cards, and they have our official digital signature in there. Maybe in the future they could or they can move to a more digital approach, but for now that does not happen. The consulate still wants to see an original translation, and therefore that is why I use my physical stamp. I use paper because I have to sign it, stamp it, and send the originals to my clients. So when I mention originals, and this is another question that sometimes clients ask me, when I mention originals, I do not require them to send me the originals of the documents that they want to translate. Digital copies are fine, but I do need to provide them with the original translation, printed, signed, and stamped, in order for them to get their application accepted and get my signature recognized by the Portuguese consulate, which is the final process for certified translation in Portugal. So this is the way it's done for Portugal. If you are a translator starting out now, and if you have the NATI certification, for example, from English into Portuguese, such as I do, you will need to think that this is the procedure. Your NATI stamp alone won't get you there. Your client will be coming back to you because they will want to recognize your signature, etc., etc. So your digital stamp may not be enough. I don't think it is. You need your signature. You need to get that certification process, which is done by recognizing your signature. So I decided to talk about this today because I know it is something that sometimes may cause a little bit of confusion, and we don't want any confusion. We don't want any misinterpretation of the law and what should be done in these occasions. So this was my intake about certified translation for other countries, and in this particular case for Portugal, which is the country that I work with. So for today, I hope you liked this video today about certified translation. I hope that if you are planning to start a business as a translator, and if you are in Australia, of course, you require the certification, the NATI certification, to work with most of our companies and authorities. But if you work in a foreign country, chances are that those countries' representations in Australia would also want you to be NATI certified, because that's what happens when they don't have that sort of facility or regulation. They usually come up with a way of including that, because let's face it, is an assurance. We are certified, we have to comply with its stringent rules, see the test, and of course, and that proves our quality, proves that we are qualified, and therefore they obviously going to prefer something like that rather than just anyone who says that they are translators. So having said that, you need to know with whatever country you are working with what the regulations are for the final product, for that certified translation to be accepted, and then proceed with whatever steps you need to take in order to get that final product to your client. In the case of Portugal, is as simple as giving your certified translation to your client. You need to send originals, and in my case, for assurance, I just include the statutory declaration with a list of all the documents that I have translated, which makes it easier for them at the consulate to check everything and see everything. I also obviously print a copy of the original document at the verse of the page, which I also stamp and sign. So it is another assurance, and I put my a little declaration that is a copy of the original that was sent to me via email, which is usually the way I receive my projects, and that was the one that was based the translation. So they know that that was the original. I stamp it, I sign it, so everything is in the same page. The front is a translation, the back is a copy of the original. So it's a whole lot of another layer, if you like, of security, because people can see when it goes to the consulate, the workers, the person that is there verifying those documents can see the translation that was made, my signature, my stamp, and then in the verse, the copy of the original with my signature and the declaration. So that is very important. Other countries may do it differently, and that's why if you are planning to start a business or your career in translation and you want to do a certified translation, you need to know, just knowing the rules in Australia is not enough. If you work with other countries, you need to know what are the rules in those countries in order for you to be able to do the job correctly. So now, before I go, if you have any suggestions of any topic that you would like me to discuss in these insiders, please leave me a comment below and I'll be very happy to accommodate it. Or if you have any comment in regards to this topic, if you are a certified translator and you are starting out and you are doing certified translations for Portugal and you want to know how to do it, please leave me a comment below. I'll be very happy to help you. And of course, put a like and subscribe to the channel with a little click on the bell so you get a notification of a new insider every week. Before I go, I would like to thank you all for watching and I'll see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.